Hi everybody, this is a blue and red Mindsplice Apparatus deck for Historic that uses that Telltale card to get us a nice reduction on all of our instants and sorceries, cast a whole bunch of them, and then use Grapeshot to take our opponents out of the game. Kind of a backup plan for this deck if we don't find or somehow lose our copy of Grapeshot is we've got a few copies of Magma Opus to draw cards and do damage and create some creature tokens, and a few copies of Mind's Desire as well to help dig through more things from the top and find some kind of answer to win the game. Now, the absolute last backup plan that we have is Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. If we happen to draw our whole library, which, as you'll see, is pretty possible, then if we can get a Jace down on the board, and we'll just win the game that way instead. Just takes a little bit longer than finding Grapeshot. So, how does this deck work? Why are we playing things like Pirate's Pillage instead of something better like Unexpected Windfall? Well, you need that colorless cost to be reduced. So the way this works, we spend the first couple of turns using Experimental Augury and Cautious Plan looking for Mindsplice Apparatus. We want to make sure that when we've got 4 mana, this is coming down as soon as we can squeeze it in. 4 copies of Unholy Heat helps us survive the early game. And then once we're able to flash in Mindsplice Apparatus on the end of our opponent's turn, usually we win when we untap. So as soon as we get the apparatus down, we use cards like Experimental Augury and Contentious Plan, things with Proliferate, to add counters on that for free. Now, we only need 3 counters on the apparatus to make almost everything in our deck free, so that's kind of our target number that we're going for, but we can make it work with less. It just takes a little bit of doing, as you'll see. So definite learning curve to this deck if you try it out. But anyway, since we usually win on our turn, having Pirate's Pillage over something like Unexpected Windfall is totally fine, and it ends up being cheaper. So the way Pirate's Pillage and Big Score work in this deck is that we end up being able to cast these cards for 1 red mana, draw 2 cards, but then net 2 treasures out of it. So each time we cast this, we're getting a little bit more mana through treasures each time. And so this is kind of what makes the whole deck function once we start going off. Bond of Insight is also really important in case we run out of these cards and need to get some back that we've already used. This will mill 4 of our cards and get us 2 cards of our choice back from the graveyard. Really nice in here. And then once we've kind of got that going, we've gotten our storm count high enough, that is, we've cast so many spells that we're up around, 15 to 20, depending on our opponent's life total, then we can do a solve the equation and go looking for a card that's going to win us the game, like Grapeshot, or even Mind's Desire if Grapeshot's in our graveyard, or something like Bond of Insight if Grapeshot happens to be in our graveyard. So anyway, enough talking about this. Let me get over to the Historic ranked ladder, and let's see how this deck works. There's a little bit of a learning curve with this deck, but if you get a few games in with it, you slowly start to see how it works, and you get faster and faster each time. So props to my opponents who actually let me finish the combo a few times, and really enjoyed taking Apparatus out for a spin on the ranked Historic ladder. So yeah, let's get to some of these games. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, we've got an Unholy Heat to start off with. We've got 2 lands. Not too shabby for a deck with only 20 lands to begin with. We've got a couple of ways to find Mindsplice, and we've got Solve the Equation, but that doesn't really come into play until later. Squirrel Sanctuary. Yeah. Good old Historic. What a nice little break. All right, so I think we can just pass here. We've got loads of instants to do at the end of our opponent's turn. Let's see if we need to Unholy Heat anything before we start looking through the top of our deck. Squirrel Sovereign. It's gonna pump up the squirrel on board. Sure. It's not that threatening, really. I don't know what to do yet. All right, Experimental Augury. We'll take that with our own Augury. We're just trying to find Mindsplice Apparatus and the 4th land. That's all we need to do right now. Let's see. I guess we could Unholy Heat now. So, allegedly, if everything goes according to plan, this deck can win as soon as we untap with a Mindsplice Apparatus. So, I'm not terribly worried about the squirrels unless they start spewing out a whole bunch more. Sylvan Anthem, great. And the Sentinel, so we're starting to go a little wide, but we've still got probably a turn or two before things get real dangerous. All right, let's Augury again. Land, Jace, and Magma Opus. I think we got to take the land here. We get another Unholy Heat. If nothing else, it's more time. Bond of Insight, mill some cards. If we mill the apparatus, we can't get it back since it's just instants and sorceries, so Pirates Pillage. The lesser cousin of Big Score. Gets us 2 more copies of Pillage, but still no apparatus. Opponent untaps, plays a second Sylvan Anthem, pumps the team up, total of 6 power between the 2 creatures, and they play out a Boseiju, which is great for us. If they had held on to that, they'd be able to use it on our Mindsplice, if we ever find it. It's Pirates Pillage again, discarding the Pillage. There's the apparatus. All right. Can we take damage from our opponent this turn? Unholy Heat is still not full strength. Nah, I think we gotta just put it down. You know, I forget that this thing has flash. Oh my, what? The third Sylvan Anthem comes in. Opponent attacks for 8. We're down to 1. I think technically we should have waited, but now we got to counter on the apparatus, and we can hopefully start adding some more. So let's see if we can manage this without dying instantly. Solve the equation, Unholy Heat, Bond of Insight, and Pirates Pillage. I think if we bond, we might be able to pick up a Proliferate card from the graveyard, which is really what I think we're looking for. Let's go... What do we got? Just Augury down here. Let's go Augury, Augury. If we can play these 2, I think we've got the mana for it. Let's see, Magma Opus, Island, Bond of Insight. Let's take Bond. We will add a counter to the apparatus. We're up to 2. Augury again should get us the rest of the way there to 3. And it's a toss-up. Gambit is... Well, we can't play it for free, but we can play it for 1. Mindsplice is at 3 counters. All right, let's see if we can do this right. Pirates Pillage. We'll discard the Gambit. Knowing me, I would cast it and pay the alternate cost, removing ourselves from the game. It's Bond of Insight. We can go getting some Pirates Pillage back. What else we got down there? Big Score. Sure, I guess that doesn't really matter which one of these we take, since it's all happening now. Now or never. Big Score. Get rid of the extra Mindsplice here. Well, Pirates Pillage again. You can sort of see the combo, the way this works. We keep trying to reuse Pillage and Big Score because it nets us 2 treasures every time and lets us kind of keep churning through the deck, casting spells, hopefully getting us to 20 storm count where we can Grapeshot somebody out of the game. So let's go ahead and grab Grapeshot now. Augury, we could add another counter on there. There's also some Mind's Desire hiding in this deck. There's Jace. He is the absolute backup plan if all else fails. You can see we can easily start getting into a situation where we might draw our whole deck. Let's Bond of Insight and get these big scores back, though. Use our last treasure to play Big Score, and opponent sees the writing on the wall and gives it up. Good game. All right. 2 lands, Magma Opus. I think we got to ship that. Not good either. Oh, wow. What is this hand? I can't keep a 1-lander. All right, we're gonna have to go down and return 3 cards. We'll get rid of Tezzeret's Gambit. Kind of one of the worst card draw spells in here. Sort of situational. We'll get rid of the Pirates Pillage. just leaving us with these 4 cards. Well, I want to kind of see if we can do it, because we've basically got the combo. All right, well, okay, well, Magma Opus, we can start making treasures. So even if we don't draw lands, we could still get there. We're just missing, like, 1 proliferate effect to get us started here. Oh, there's 1. All right. So we can Augury now and go looking for a land, but we want to save that for the apparatus. So let's pass. The plan is we can Opus and discard it and make another treasure. So that'll be 4. So all we got to do is draw a land. Famous last words. Opponent looking like a standard deck here in Historic, but I'm a little scared of what kind of interaction they're running. Hopefully no Spell Pierce. Hopefully just creature protection, because our deck does not care about that. We draw Mind's Desire, but we are stuck on 2 lands and 2 treasures, so we've really got to time this correctly. Okay. Vesuvan Duplimancy, one of the most fun cards to come out of recent sets, but definitely frightening. So the Contaminator's going to hit us, push us up to 2 poison counters. We got to go for it here. Mindsplice Apparatus. That gets an oil counter, so we get a nice discount on all of our spells. Let's play our Augury. That'll put another counter on it, and we'll take a big score and see if we can start this going here. We might be... yeah, we're just short. Unfortunately, no extra land picked up there. We could have taken the chance that we could Augury again, but I think if we can just hold this Augury, maybe use it on our opponent's turn, get to untap with this stuff. I think we just need 1 more... oh my goodness. Opponent copying things left and right, but unfortunately for them, they don't have haste. So it looks like we're on the hook for at least 6. Opponent shores up the Contaminator, makes a copy of that. Ivy says, I'll take a copy of that too. Everybody untaps, and so we get hit down to 4. And we are up to 4 poison counters, thanks to the Contaminator. Let's Augury now. Still no land, but I think big score here. We just need the 1 red mana, and I think... yep, Mindsplice should be high enough now, where we've got our big scores where we need them to be. And it's basically all down to what we can draw here. So let's go big score, discarding Mind's Desire. There's a land. Pirate's Pillage. We've already played our land, though, so let's discard Steam Vents. We've got 2 big scores. Let's go big score again, discarding Apparatus. Opponent tapped out here, so don't have to worry about Spell Pierce. Big score, we can discard this land. Alright, we pick up 2 lands, so it's time to switch to Augury. Mind's Desire. That could be helpful. Alright, so we'll put another counter on the Apparatus. It's Mind's Desire time. Makes 5 copies of itself, so we'll get to see several things off the top of our library and cast any of them for free. Ooh, Magma Opus. Unholy Heat. 3 lands. And Jace, the backup plan. Alright, well, because it's free and it's going to up our spell count, we're going to Unholy Heat on Ivy. We're going to Magma Opus on the real Contaminator. And tap down a couple of those other things. We get to draw 2 cards and get a Solve the Equation and another land. Let's play Jace for free. I know Jace can at least draw us 1 card. Yes, let's target us. Puts a Pillage in the grave and gives us Grapeshot. That's our win con. Great. So now we just need to get there. Let's solve the equation. I think what we need here is a way to keep the chain rolling. So that's Bond of Insight. 1 card to basically get us 2 that we know we want. That'll mill us for 4. And we can pick back up Pillage and big score. Great, so now we get to start it all over again. Pirates Pillage, discard land. We get another big score, beautiful. Discarding land. We get Unholy Heat, another bond. That ensures that we can keep this up. Big score again, discarding land. Netting 2 treasures off of each one of these. Pirates Pillage. Discard the apparatus. Opponent really patient with us, by the way. Bond of Insight. So now that we've expended the treasure creators from our hand, let's go get some more out of the grave. Pirates Pillage and big score again. Pillage. Discard Unholy Heat. If all goes well, we're not going to need that anymore. Pirates Pillage. I will say, in our opponent's defense, whenever I'm playing against a combo deck, there's a chance they could fizzle out. And so you never know what's going to happen. It's a very satisfying victory, but I don't think that's going to happen to us this time. We're refilling the hand. We've got everything we need. Mana to spare. And I guess Grapeshot? Oh, that's a lot of Grapeshot copies. We're going to have to speed this up. And we got there. Good game. All right. Now, I've made some changes. 2 land is, I've discovered, is all about all you can expect from this deck. So I went and I shaved off 2 cards and added in 2 lands. So we're up to a whopping 22. I believe I removed a copy of Bond of Insight. And I forget what else. It might have been the Tezzeret's Gambit. I don't know. At any rate, I'll show you in the video. But we're looking good here. We got the 3rd land, Magma Opus here, and Apparatus in hand. Picks us up a Pirate's Pillage off the draw, and so we're ready to hopefully flash in Apparatus at the end of our opponent's turn. But I'm going to, yeah, this is smelling like counterspell territory. And our deck doesn't do a whole lot else, so okay, what? I am not really that into Historic, so I don't know quite what we're up against, but it's a great time for us to Apparatus. Yeah. Let's put a counter on the Apparatus. Sounds good. Picked up a land. Another counter on the Apparatus, trying to get that up to 3. Perfect. We've got there, and we've got 3 big score clones in our hand. So let's discard Unholy Heat. Our opponent tapped out, so we are free to do whatever. It is up to us to finish this game. And so, out of respect for opponent, I think I figured this out now, where we can kind of speed this along. And pretty much we're at the place where we kind of know what we're doing. All right, we big score. Let's get rid of that land. Jace the backup plan. Time to Bond of Insight, mill some cards, get back big score. Solve the equation, though. That could be useful if we end up milling Grapeshot by accident. There's only 2 copies of Solve in here, so might not be a bad idea to get that in our hand. Guaranteed. So we pick up 2 Mindsplice. I think now's time to Mind's Desire. We're up to 8 storm count, maybe? No, let's bond instead. You end up getting so many cards in your hand, it's hard to see this. All right, so bond picks us up 2 big scores. Let's get those out of the way. Getting rid of these lands. A few more auguries means we get to proliferate. Unholy Heat and some land. We'll just take the land. Put a counter on that. It does make our Mind's Desire cheaper. So now let's give that a try. Oh, hold on. Let's augury first. We can put a few more counters on there and get into territory where Magma Opus becomes super cheap. All right, we get bond. So let's hold off. Okay, now we can pick up Grapeshot and a big score from the graveyard. Wait, hold on. Yep, big score first. We're not quite there yet. Storm count 15, or 14, excuse me. Big score, we get a pillage. Hold on, I got to think about this for a second. Trying to remember if storm copies contribute to the storm count. Don't remember if they do or not. All right, well, we'll probably get there just based on the mana we've got and the cards in our hand. So let's solve the equation here. Not too much left in our deck, actually. So Pirate's Pillage, the way to go. Guarantees we're going to have spells to cast and treasures to cast it with. We discard this apparatus. And Pirate's Pillage. I think we need one more to get there. So we'll just impulse. Pick something off the top. Thank you for your patience, opponent. So we'll Grapeshot, targeting the opponent. And target them with the rest of these copies. For exactly 20. All right. Thanks, opponent. Good game. Well, this is certainly keepable. We've got lands to play. There's a Magma Opus. Impulse to help us find Mindsplice Apparatus, along with Experimental Augury. Was that a Foretold card? Opponent on red and blue. Glimpse the Cosmos. Is this a Giants deck? Those can have some explosive turns, so let's see if we can find Mindsplice, and there it is. Excellent. Put down our Stormcarved Coast. Aim to Mindsplice at the end of our opponent's next turn. So there's a Quakebringer. Means they can recast the Glimpse. We'll discard Magma Opus and give ourselves a treasure. Play out this island and pass rather than play the apparatus now. So Quakebringer is going to hit us for 2. Opponent up to 5 lands, casts Glimpse again because they control the giant. So we're looking... All right, they're going to get in for 5. Hopefully they tap out here, but we might just have to go for it. How many counters would a giant deck run? Let's go for it. Well, they've got something, but they let it resolve. Mindsplice is going to give itself an oil counter on our upkeep. We pick up more land. All right, we've got an Augury. That's going to proliferate us up to 2. Let's see what we can find. Big score. All right. Or Impulse. Yeah, maybe it's Impulse. Could make an argument for either one there, but Impulse is going to let us see more cards. But solve the equation. We've got 2 of these in here, so let's go Guaranteed. Pick out exactly what I want, and just something that says Proliferate on it. Perfect. Experimental Augury. All right. Sure, Shivan Reef, I guess that's fine. We'll put a counter on there, and 3 counters achieved. So Pirate's Pillage. Let's start this process. Get a Magma Opus. Let's see how cheap we can make that card. Big score again. Let's Bond of Insight. See if we can't get some of those back. Or if our opponent's going to try to fizzle us somehow. Let's get Big Score and Pirate's Pillage back. That's great. Filter through some of these extra lands. Pirates Pillage again. Discarding Magma Opus. They're reading that one. Pirates Pillage. One more time. Mind's Desire now getting fairly cheap. Alright, let's go for Mind's Desire then. Do a casual 9 copies. Probably have to speed that up a little bit. We've got 9 things we can cast from the top of our deck. So let's go big score. We'll discard the Steam Vents from our hand. And opponent sees, probably smells the Grapeshot coming. Good game. All right, I think we can muster up another game with this. We've got plenty of lands. Okay. All right, this is what I was worried about. So, opponent's going to Thoughtseize our Impulse away. Is this a full-on... yeah, there's the Pilfer. Okay. What would the opponent take here? Yeah, probably a good choice. Mind's Desire. So we're left with our 3 big score effects and some lands. So the good news is we're guaranteed enough lands to play Mindsplice Apparatus. Question is if we're going to have enough cards to play with it when we get there. All right, we'll discard a Pillage to Liliana. See, in Best of 1, you can sometimes get away with combo decks like this because people can't sideboard. And so you either come prepared to negate the effects of a combo deck, or you are a combo deck yourself and you just try to luck into some good matchups. Torment of Scarabs. Wow. Nice. All right, so let's see. Let's just decline. We'll take the damage. Steam Vents. Yeah, we'll pay the 2. Our big scores are so expensive now. Really spoiled by a Mindsplice Apparatus. Opponent plays Junji the Midnight Sky. So that's their kind of last card in hand. They're going to try to clean us up with that. Liliana going to try to make us discard something here. We can afford to get rid of this land. I think big score here, pitching Unholy Heat. As we go looking for Apparatus. I think we just got to keep looking. We can afford to take a little more damage from Junji. There it is. All right, let's see if we can get away with this. We have to dodge discard here pretty carefully. Yeah, let's just hold everything for now. We really don't need more lands in play, and it's fodder for Liliana. So here we go. Discard Shivan Reef. Opponent just drew a land, so we're going to take 5 from the dragon. We'll Mindsplice, flash that in at the end of their turn. Torment of Scarabs, we'll just decline and take the damage, so we're at 4. Oh, yes, that was a fantastic draw. Experimental Augury into Contentious Plan, so let's proliferate up to 2. Plan, draw a card, gets us up to 3. We just have 2 lands. All right, we can play... well, hold on. Let's see if we need to hold that. Pirates Pillage. What do you got for me? There it is. Big score. Discarding this land, yes. Augury. All right, we got to go looking with that. Oh, there's a Pillage. Perfect. Can add a counter to the Apparatus. Let's go Pirates Pillage. Pitch the land. That draws us a big score. Auto pay. Pitch the land. That gets us Solve and Bond. Perfect. Bond of Insight can go picking up big score. Looks like we did pitch our Grapeshot down there, but I think... let's see, we've got a Solve in hand. Do we need to take Grapeshot now? I think we can afford to do that. That's a big score. We'll pitch the Unholy Heat. We get a Mindsplice Apparatus and an Augury, so let's Augury. Plenty of mana left. Take the Magma Opus. Put a counter on Apparatus. Solve the equation. That can go and find us I think it's bond here. We will bond and pick up a couple of things from the grave. Big score. And I've got to shift over a little bit there. Pirates Pillage. So now we're just upping the storm count as high as we can get. Discard extra apparatus. Jace the backup plan is here. Pirates Pillage. Pitch this land. Alright, if we can do a few more things, we can get there. Have I run out of juice? Alright, Magma Opus. Actually, Magma Opus to the face will cut down on the amount of copies we create, so I think this is good. Magma Opus. We're down to our last treasure. Opponent at 14. We can play this land and Grapeshot. Grapeshot hits. Ooh, and we got there through discard. Good game.